Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful, beautiful planet you get to call home for such a tiny amount of time. There is only ever this moment. This moment is all that exists. There is no past, there is no future. It only exists because of the story played out in your mind. There is only ever this present moment. Once them people back there are not in my awareness, I'm not witnessing that, they not come onto my screen of consciousness, they don't exist. It can only exist because of the story playing out, the conditioned mind. Beings, beingness, the witnesser, consciousness has been veiled by the mind. So people walking about believing the story, believing the program, believing the conditioning. Behind that is who everybody is. Nobody is that program. Thank fuck people are waking up to truth. It's really hard for the older generation to come to see this because they've been stuck in a program. They've been stuck in conditioning. Sometimes 80, 70, 60 years worth of programming into the mind. None of it has been real. It's all just somebody else's story filtered down into entities. So entities are veiled by the mind, not a fucking clue who they are. They don't know that they're the beingness. They don't know that they can sit back and witness the unfolding of the beauty of this lifetime. This moment is all you will ever have. Nothing else exists. It only exists because of the program in your mind. That 5% of matter in your mind, in your brain, called the ego, is what the people are listening to. It's called the thoughts, called the story, is what people are listening to whole of lifetimes. Not being on the left-hand side of the brain. Not being aware that there's another part of the brain, the right-hand side, that is empty, that is full of love, that is full of joy, that doesn't judge, that doesn't have opinions and views, that isn't negative, that doesn't divide. What's that side? That is the awareness. That is the witnesser. That is consciousness. It's behind every story. It's behind every thought. It's apart from every thought. It's apart from all the conditioning, all the programming. Go and find that place. Sit in the emptiness of thought. People won't because the ego is so strong. The ego, the story, the conditioning will keep pulling you back in. It wants to be in control. It wants you to be veiled. It wants the beingness to be veiled by the mind. So that the ego stays in control and controls people. What you'll realise if you go on this, whatever journey, whatever you want to call it, seeking, you'll realise that there'll come a point where the ego and the awareness there's no longer just the ego. You're no longer just listening to the program. You've become aware that there's something else there. You become aware that you're not them stories. Over a period of time, you'll start to see that the ego and the awareness will coexist. But they can't coexist for long. One's got to outmove the other. So the awareness, the witnesser, and the ego, it's like I take like tectonic plates, you know, they shift together, constantly shifting. That's what you'll feel like. I just need to be aware of the time because I'm picking my little boy up. Right, I need to go this way, it's 5 past. They'll start to shift together. The awareness and the ego. The story, the conditioned mind, and the witnesser, the consciousness. They'll both be in play together. This is a really, really good stage. This is the stage when your soul is entering in to abiding. It's entering in to, what's the word I'm looking for? Discovery. It's discovery part of your soul's journey. So they'll coexist for a while. If you continue to allow that mind to go and check, I'm going to have to jog here. If you continue to allow that mind to go and check, the ego will take over. The ego will be the dominant force. It's really important when you start to see that that is just a story. It's just a program playing out in the mind, playing out on the screen of consciousness. Then that is where that is the time when the ego's days are numbered. Because the awareness starts to shine through. The witnesser, the consciousness starts to become the dominant force. Then, once that shift has happened, the ego and the awareness, let's call it the awareness, they can't coexist together. The ego, so back in I don't know, 12 AD or something like that, fucking years ago, they didn't have a name for the ego. They didn't know it was, we've come up with this name, ego. They didn't have a name for the ego, so they called the ego the devil, evil. But that is what the ego is. The ego is the negative entity. There has to be that positive and light, that negativity, and love and light and fear, worry. There has to be that balance in a lifetime. Some people live whole lifetimes listening to fear, listening to the ego, listening to in the olden days the devil, the evilness of an entity. That is, some people live whole lifetimes in that place. And it's exactly the same thing that happens with shifts in the world, shifts in relationships. These shifts happen. If your soul is here to upgrade, then it will upgrade. It will upgrade into love and light. If it's not meant to, then it won't. You'll live your whole of your lifetime in the ego. So you might have grown up in suffering, in struggle, and then gone, fucking hell man, this is muddy as fuck. And then gone for a journey of seeking. That's your soul's journey. That's your soul wanting to come into the light, wanting to come into love, wanting to open that heart, an open, activated heart chakra. So you go into that seeking phase. Might be a case that you stop in that seeking. I'm gonna have to run here. You stop in the seeking phase in this lifetime. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen for you. Or you might go into abiding and discovery. But these things happen on a smaller scale, and they happen on a much bigger scale. It's happening in the world at the minute, isn't it? We're getting rid of all the negativity. We're getting rid of all the dark entities. You see them. They're all being weaned off this planet. And they'll no longer be the darkness. They'll just be open, forth activated beings walking this planet in thousands of years, which is absolutely fantastic. It's a great time to be alive, to watch that shift and watch how it plays out from the awareness, not from the ego. But that shift will happen. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. And even like you see in the world at the minute, that shifting out of darkness and negativity, shifting into light. But if you become aware of that in your lifetime, if you become aware of that as an entity, fucking wow. What a place to sit from. What a place to be aware from. What a thing to witness. that you're shifting, your soul is shifting out of fear, out of negativity, out of worry, out of all the shit the ego brings. You can be a witness to that and watch yourself shifting into awareness, into abiding, into seeking. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Because you're getting rid of all your suffering. You're detaching from the ego, from the program that is just made up. That's how we're built. We're built as entities walking this planet with two halves of the brain. One tiny part of matter is the ego, is the conditioned mind, where the majority of the population live from, being veiled by the mind, thinking that's who they are, thinking being the main word. Thoughts are fucking nothing. Thoughts are just regurgitated shit. What somebody's told you about their own conditioned mind. It's all nonsense, but people believe it because they've not been shown, or their soul isn't here to awaken to truth. So they'll live the whole lifetime listening to that conditioned mind, believing that's who they are, believing what John told you about Bob. It's all nonsense. But then there's an awakened side of the brain, which is the awareness, which is the witness of where there is no fear, worry, anxiety. It doesn't exist. Why? Because you're not coming up into a story. You're not coming up into thought. You're not coming up into the conditioned mind. Your suffering will end at the end of thought. It doesn't exist. What did Jesus say? You have to die to your ego to be reborn. What you're dying to the story playing out in the mind. That is all the ego is. You have to die to the false self. The false self being the ego. The false self just being a program of Chinese whispers. That's all it is. That is all it's ever been. That is all it will ever be. Lucky enough, people awaken to this. People come to realise the truth. Thank fuck people are waking up to truth younger and younger and younger. So they don't have to live whole lifetimes listening to a program of what mummy told you, of what daddy told you, of what your friends have told you, of what your neighbours have told you. It's all fucking nonsense. But you believe it because your parents know no different. Because your friends know no different. Because the people you come into contact with know no different. Forgive them, Father, because they know not what they do. They don't know that they're listening to a program that isn't real. So there is no judgment there. There is nothing there. There is just emptiness and peace and joy and happiness and playfulness and all the good shit once you detach from the program, the conditioned mind. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Namaste.